Hello, and welcome to Chicken Soup for the Truther's Soul, and welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I hope that everyone is blessed in Jesus' name, and everyone's day went well and is going well. So this is going to be a little bit of a change compared to other videos that I've made before, and I thought that today we would cover a couple of commercials that I thought stood out as quite telling in a spiritual kind of way. So what I noticed in my research in the past up till now, what God has showed me that when you slow down videos, it becomes easier to see in the spirit what's really happening and what to hear in the spirit, with eyes to see and ears to hear. And with discernment, a lot of truth can be found. So today I want to start off by saying that the enemy is, whatever he does is going to falter and fall flat every time. So the plans of the enemy are going to be rendered void and null and void. And so whatever they try to release, whatever kind of propaganda they try to put in the commercial, no matter how much they pump it up by making it a finalist for some award show, it's not going to take away from the power and almighty glory of God. So I just want to be really clear that none of this has an effect on us as believers if we don't let it, because we are to stand strong in the power and glory of his might. And so I'm just going to go into this. I'm going to be pausing in between. This is only a 2-minute ad, which is really longer than most ads. So with me adding my commentary, it might be a tad bit longer. So anyways, I'm going to get right into it.
Have you ever noticed how in Hollywood movies all the villains are played by Brits?
Okay, so I just want to review that the female, which you know how I'm always feeling about that, whether it appears to be a female or not, it was probably both. Now you notice as it began, they were observing the plane land, almost like watcher, like kind of deal, and that's going to paint the scene for this entire commercial, because it's going to be centered around like the fallen angels and what they do here on earth and all of that. This guy who's got all these security cameras, you saw he's got camera footage of the plane landing all reflected all over his walls. This is going to be like your secret monitor type. And in this case, seeing as the devil, the only way that he can be more than one place at one time, it fits the character here in this commercial that has all of these cameras plastered, the camera footage he's going to be checking out all on his walls in his place. And so therefore you could say he's going to be playing the role of the devil, and there's going to be his fallen angels in the rest of the commercial at work, telling you what they do here on Earth. So just be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'm actually going to flip on these closed captions because you may not be able to make out what they're saying really slowly, and seeing as I've already watched it before, well, I know what they're saying, but I didn't think about that. You guys may not be able to hear what he's saying. So without further ado, we're going to proceed.
Maybe we just sound right. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, so just in case you guys didn't hear what the guy said leading into this, he said that hey, did anybody ever wonder why British people are always cast as villains? And then they proceed to say maybe, they start to explain why possibly that could be. And you know how they say the devil's an Englishman, and so they're playing off these stereotypes. They're playing off these stereotypes that have nothing to do with the actual truth, right? And then he greets, this person was handing him off something as Mary. So, there's a cult significance to that. There's a cult significance to that for people who worship Mary. And so instead of Jesus, the Son, which is who you should be definitely following, just you can't go through the Father but through him. So, but there's also like some other pagan background that I'm not fully educated on as far as all of that, because I didn't want to dive into that direction, but there is pagan significance behind this name that has other things to do with someone else other than Mary Magdalene. So, but let's continue. Obviously, on the license plate, the most obvious thing was the CC-33. A third of the fallen angels fell at Mount Hermon. It's CC-33, 33, a third. CC-33, the age Jesus died. So they're kind of obsessed with that, but we already know that. Now, they've done this commercial in such a way that they can just say it's for extra added effects that they've blurred out the background, but it does kind of look like orbs, however. Okay, so notice he's saying we. Now, if it weren't for the fact that they went into this saying that they're talking about British people as a whole, it wouldn't seem like anything's out of place. But looking at it from their perspective spiritually, and and these people being represented as the eyes and ears, boots on the ground, them being able to appear in human form, and in the form that they had them when I paused previously, an orb, spiritual, like indiscernibly, like inanimate shape form, right? And then him saying that we're focused, right? Because they're on a mission if they have commands from their father, the devil, or not their father, the devil, but their who's head honcho over them until they're cast into the lake of fire. Head honcho of all the devil's children on the earth, and coordinating them too, but also, you know, suppressing and trying to interfere with affairs with people who are in high positions of power, setting things up so that if they don't obey these kind of situations, like when celebrities die suddenly, kind of like Paul Walker, that kind of thing, where people can't explain like the major events such as 9/11 and JFK, or it's hard for them to get to the bottom of the truth, truly, because of how many unexplainable things happened that day, right? Well, many of us have discovered the truth despite what they tried to interfere with, so, but I just wanted to add to that part, because they are very focused on completing their missions. If anyone's ever been attacked by the demonic before, they're very persistent. You have to really pray and not give up, and be resilient, and use your authority in the name of Jesus, or, you know, they are very focused on completing whatever their mission is, which is truly impossible. Might be keying into that movie titled Mission Impossible. Again, that goes right along with being very just executing the mission. If you're gonna notice, they're gonna have a lot of light being the main like a component in this commercial. And you know how they say, people who are Satanists, Luciferians, occultists, that light, and Masons, who say that light is their god, their false god Lucifer. And you're going to notice that they're going to keep on doing this one eye motif. You'll notice the half side profile. You'll notice half the face being shown. This is not an accident. Again, here's a better example of the one eye completely obviously, like definitely not on accident here, clearly. Because this is that, think about it like this, they spent as much money as they would to produce a movie in some of these commercials that win awards like this one did. It's a pretty prestigious automobile show, so over in Europe, I believe. But before this, you noticed that chuckle, right? Again, in the spirit with ears to hear, you hear manifestations of the enemy, devils, you know. If you've heard deliverance before, where people are manifesting, or just somebody possessed before, that's a better example. They start doing things like that. Maybe even think of a horror movie character, and they start acting like that, kind of maniacally controlling, evil, confidence, a bold, arrogant confidence in knowing that or a false knowing confidence that they think they're gonna succeed, that kind of thing. I discern that from that last that last part right there, and it's only gonna get more intense.
Always one step ahead.
Again, if you've ever been gang stalked before, which I'm sure someone out there listening right now has experienced some level of persecution on this level, which is not a normal level of persecution. That's how you know you're hidden. You're hidden on that spot of truth. You know that you're getting really close when you start to get followed, and when you notice that when you arrive somewhere, if you have been through this, someone's already waiting there for you, perhaps even watching you, perhaps even wanting to make conversation to let you know that they made it there first. This has happened to me numerous times.
Certain style and eye for detail.
I just wanted to pause it. Sorry, I was choppy for a second pausing that, because this is often a tactic used to have one light shining brighter than the other, or the other headlight completely out. For them to have this sort of focusing in on that in the commercial, again, of this caliber as far as funding goes, it's intentional. I just wanted to make that really clear. If you've been harassed before, this is a technique that is used all of the time. So, no, I'm not saying that they're using this to gaslight people who've been through this sort of thing, but this sort of particular persecution from the enemy. But I just wanted to make it clear that this is, for me, building in the spiritual discernment area of, as far as identifying the enemy. One eye, he said that previously here, and now you're seeing it play out here. Okay? Okay. I just learned about this, well, and actually believed it the other day. You know how sometimes in our past, before we fully awoke, we're in denial, maybe, possibly, or at least I was in denial about this particular thing. Now you're going to notice in the background here, the building to the right of the helicopter being featured, the right pane of the screen, is got some interesting design there, and it's not on accident. So off the bat, you may be able to trace out the square and compass. I'm just tracing it out with the mouse. And if you turn it to the side, if you turn your head to the side, to the left or the right, you're going to see an X and another X. Now, this is a hex in plain sight. These are hexes that are used to open portals. Just gonna leave that there, because I honestly, when it comes to certain things, when it gets into that really occult symbolism, I'm trying to give my opinion on it, but I'm not trying to make it, I don't want to make it seem like any of this stuff is more important than, you know, what really matters at the end of the day, right? Which is like people repenting and being saved and born again, water and spirit. These things are truly the most important. When the enemy is this blatant, you know, you got to call out and expose what's going on, because this is a motif used in a lot of like TV shows and movies, and even like there's a video if you want to look it up, if you want to like see, because I didn't even want to see, I didn't know I wanted to see until I saw it. I was like, wow, I'm glad I saw this. Bill Gates doing the ice bucket challenge, and his little design that he creates in the video, he ends up doing the same exact thing, the double X. So when they say like on Twitter and things like that, rest in peace, because I don't really go on Twitter, but when I do, I don't go on Twitter like as in I have an account, but I'm not on there most of the time. When I go on there, then people will be saying rest in peace and X, oh, and all that kind of stuff. Not good, not good, not good. Because it all means the same. And then they say X marks the spot for death and stuff. Another little tidbit, Chris Brown had a shooting at a nightclub in LA, and outside of this nightclub there was a promotional billboard for his new album, and it had a red X over the same place where the person who ended up getting shot and hurt would get shot at. They had an X, like, so the X marks the spot. So there's some sort of symbolism towards death, destruction, chaos, that kind of whole thing, that whole thing. So we know the background behind this is probably Jewish magic, right? Sorcery. I'm going to continue. I know I spent a long time on that, but this is something you probably see might even in your pillows and furniture and artwork. I mean, like, you got to be careful with some of this stuff. You got to pray over everything you get, no doubt, and get rid of all that stuff that's not from him, from the Lord. You know, ask him if you have something in your house that he doesn't want you to have, or there's something that's causing you to get afflicted. Now, this is a demon speaking out of him, okay? This is, yeah, right? We got fallen angels, lower dimensional entities, right? There's a hierarchy, so I'm saying like this is a demonic voice, but we're still talking about fallen angels, but I'm able to discern. This voice is not his voice. He gets under the possession of a spirit. And yes, they are drunk on power. Yes, they are obsessed over power. Yes, Satan is over the world right now when Yeshua, Jesus Christ, returns. That will change. He will burn down this entire, everyone will be marked in their forehead who is of him, everyone else. Okay, it's going to have to burn. All his people will be saved. And, okay, and all this obsession and maniacal control will come to an abrupt end. So it's saying that they're obsessed by power, right? And I just wanted to emphasize this part here. I might even go back a little bit and play it again, just so that you can discern how he wants a bird's eye view, which is what the fallen angels are. They're up in the sky purveying, right? You may look up in the sky and see like stars moving, right? Because I've heard two things about the stars in the sky. The stars in the sky are, I've heard people say, and I'm not saying like 100% this is true. I don't want to be like teaching something or saying something or commentating on something that's not true, right? But I'm saying what I've heard. Like, they're saying, people I've heard have said that people and there's stars in the sky because it's people who haven't been born yet. Then I've heard others, in my own opinion, think that it's like fallen angels, especially when they start moving. When they start moving around, and you're like, that's not a plane. I'm not way up that high. Okay, so this helicopter is kind of symbolizing that. Not to mention, I forgot to mention, helicopters are used during game stalking too. I've had a helicopter show up where I live, and it was hiding out in the trees, like trying to become hidden, one camouflage, whatever. And it brought so much attention that a neighbor came out and started filming it, and I was like frozen in my car, like, because I'd never seen anything like that once that happened to me for the first time. And I live near a military base, so I thought maybe it was a military personnel going to the military base. And now I'm just thinking that it could have been not even a real helicopter. Could have been spiritual manifestation. So that's some background on what this could be here and what I'm seeing here. I'm sorry, I gotta play that again because it was just too obvious. It was like a coming out for the devil and his fallen angels right here, this moment. I'm gonna play it again.
Why?
I wanted to pause right there because I wanted you to see the smile on his face. When people start to get under possession of a spirit, the face contorts. It past human, like once you're able to, because I know a lot of you out there can see what I'm seeing right now. And if there's anybody out there who can't like discern what I'm explaining or anything of what's being shown here, I ask humbly that you would pray to the Lord for discernment. And you see, he might, because he's no respecter of persons, he gave me this gift to see into the spirit without me even having to ask, and it was literally given freely. So, he may, if you aren't able to see this kind of thing, maybe he will do the same for you. But literally, you see how his smile is just a little bit too, the corners of his mouth and his eyes. Now, the eyes are the most important part. Discern the spirit through the eyes, because the eyes are the window to the soul, and you have many demons and just demons inside of you. This way, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Like, the movie Osmosis Jones was supposed to be about, like, these different parts of your body that are, like, coordinating with each other. You may even notice it, like, when, like, you may notice it, like, maybe when you're trying to eat or something, and then all of a sudden you have to go to the restroom. And then, like, you have to wash your hands, or whatever, like, something like that. Or, like, when you're, let me think. So, your stomach, when people say their stomach's growling or their stomach sounds like it's talking to them, there's demons inside of you that want to keep you, like, eating all the time and things like that. That's why it's really important to fast and pray. Fasting is very essential to casting out demons, right? Having demons leave you, because otherwise some will not go out, because it says that some will not go out but through prayer and fasting. Just wanted to, in this face here, it screams snake, really. And he's the most subtle beast in the field. So this revealing here, not revelation, that wouldn't be the appropriate term. This revealing here is only biblical, again, because of how it says that he's got to tell us what he has to do before he does it, because of the persecution Job faces in the Bible. So yeah, I'm going to continue because I spent a lot of time on this. Arrogance was just in that last part. See, they're focusing on the one eye. I'm not. This is a theme here. This is like supposed to represent an eye as well, I think, because big Silicon Valley companies like Oculus, you see Oculus, ocular, like there's different parts of medicine that use the same term, ocular, or oculus, or some sort of variation of that to describe the profession, and that has to do with like the eyes. Okay, like it's like a, you know, if you look at the root of the word oculus, well, it's probably going to be something related to the eye. So I don't know, I just wanted to add that. Oh, and the colors. That's all very important thing to these people as well, the elite. Like they do color codes. Red, blue, red, blue. They have meaning. They put meaning behind all these colors. At the end of the day, God made everything, evil and good. So he made the colors. So while we're seeing these things, you see these things like orange, which is 33, right? And blue and red, which represents masonry. Red being the Scottish Rite, blue being the York Rite, right? So even right here, they put it into their algorithms for their systems. Like YouTube has like a red, obviously they're using red, black, and white, which is even more significant, satanic color combination. But then there's Twitter, they use blue. So you got red over at YouTube, and you got blue over at Twitter. So there's even red and blue here as I pause this video, because it's the matrix, it's fluid. Like if you notice, like you might be talking sometimes, and then like say you're watching a video and they say the exact same thing as you're saying it. It's a fluid matrix, okay? So yeah, I'm gonna continue.
Stiff upper lip is key.
Again, under the control of another spirit, not of him. Probably willingly, I'm thinking, because even in the commercial world, there's people who will sell out to be a part of that. Now, this is, in this specific commercial, actors are being featured, so you know what they had to do. So, you saw before he started talking, he was like seething. He was, you know what it says in the Morals and Dogma? Obviously I've never purchased it, and I'm not trying to own a book like that. It's like I'm not trying to own the Talmud. I'm not trying to own a Masonic Bible. I'm not trying to, you see, there's people who have done these kind of videos who have done, they've done the real work by purchasing that book. If I got it, I would have to do a video on it and then burn it, because I'm not trying to have that in my possession. Anyway, the discernment here, what's being discerned here is the eyes, the mouth contorting, even the ears curving, getting sharper, right? Like, just like a spirit over him in general, influencing him. Of course, we use that loosely. want to continue to harp on the fact that he uses, as I just missed, as a habit, miss saying saying plural, saying like we, they instead of like I, stuff like that, plural pronouns instead of singular pronouns. In this case, like I said earlier, he's using plural pronouns because he's referring to we as in legion, as in many, right? What in the Bible Jesus was like they were begging him, and he was like, okay, like, you know, they begged him enough that he just decided to send them into the pigs after they reminded him it was not the appointed time, and that just lets you know every knee shall bow. So, but I'm going to continue. Red and blue on either side of the pillars confirms the Masonic connection being made here. Latin up there at the top of the screen on the top of this bridge. It is one of the oldest languages, and it is it's connected to the ancient world. I guess I try to figure out sometimes why they still use it, why they want to keep it alive, you know, because Hebrew and Greek really, I'm pretty sure the oldest languages, so wonder why Latin. In Latin, if you look at these mottos for a lot of these Ivy League schools, they'll have like a motto in Latin, mostly usually talking about light, or trying to pretend to be believers in Christ when they're probably Jesuits, right? So, I'll continue. I forgot to mention they have CC on the helicopter too, and you know that the capitalized G is for masonry, and the wide shot of where they're headed to, where the helicopter and this car are going to, it looks to be a huge Masonic temple, like the Buckingham Castle, where the Queen Elizabeth lives, the second, where I just found out that back in the 30s they used to call it a lodge. They used to refer to the Buckingham Castle as a lodge. So I wonder why would they be coming to meet the devil, Satan, in the lodge, his fallen angels in the lodge. Wow. People are being deceived. I hope if anyone's listening to this who is a Mason, I would implore you to look into the history of Masonry and try to dig and do research while you still can before they censor everyone out of here who's got anything to say about what Masonry is all about. Just please, because it's not what it seems. Then I also wanted to throw in that they had a dog laying on the couch. I know this is super minor, but none of this stuff was on accident. I took one or two, I think officially just one film class, and he was emphasizing how none of this stuff is on accident in the movies, and he really harped on that, and that helped me wake up too, because God even has a way of working through the secular school system to help you too. So, although now, of course, I've come out of the world and I came out of that as well later on, but I wanted to say that the dog is important because these non-believers and things, they like to reverse stuff, right? So they're putting God's name backwards, dog, God. They like to flip things, right? Reverse, law reversal. And Aleister Crowley's teachings really definitely not going to purchase any books by him. Just saying, like, I really applaud those people who have exposed the darkness and bought these books. Like, what is it, the Satanic Bible. It's just not going to happen here. I'm not going to purchase. I'm not going to have one of those books in my possession. Even if it was at the library, I don't even think I would go near it. Like, if I'm reading it like in a small little section on Google Books, like the little highlighted part they give you, like when I did research on the Talmud, see what they say about what they think they can do to kids, which they can't, because millstone is coming their way around their neck, dragged to the bottom of the sea. But like, literally, there's no way it's gonna happen. There's no way I'm gonna buy that book. It's just, but I'm really happy somebody out there who most likely, hopefully, knew that once they got done they should burn it, did the work and helped to teach others. So, yeah. Okay, and this is the last part, and I'm gonna be honest. The last part is left really ubiquitously. So it's kind of like maybe up to you to figure out what they're saying here. So, and I'm just going to put what I think it could be, but the ending is really ubiquitous, to put it that way. Okay. I just wanted to talk about how I'm pretty definitely sure that he's both. Watching that walk and the hip to shoulder ratio that was present when the wind blew his jacket back and all that. I'm sure most of you could see before he was possibly both, but that's obviously a minor detail. Big picture here, I think they're saying the race for time's running out. This time is short. That's about what I'm gauging from the scene, the hurriedness of it all. Let's get ready. It's almost time, the appointed time. The appointed time is imminent. The time is imminent. Okay? And it is. No doubt about it. We've observed from what's going on, what isn't going on right now.
It's good to be back.
Yep, that's the end of it, because, well, it's only 4 more seconds left, but it's the end, and what an ending. Could they have topped it off with anything more fitting as to what I was saying? It is obviously not good to be bad, number 1. Number 2, hashtags witches use. As displayed from some video I watched about what BLM actually uses this hashtag, the witches who founded it. And I was in denial for a long time. Obviously, I was biased because I am black and female, and those first things that happened, I was a few years ago with the shootings, and I was like, whoa. I never fully bought it, but again, it takes a while for God to wake us up. So I was like, when I found out there were witches, I was like, that's too bad, because I was holding out for some reason, but no. The hashtag, yeah. They definitely are, and the hashtag is to like communicate. It's supposed to like communicate some things to do with communicating with ancestral spirits and things, like how they did in like Black Panther and all that. And I was just like, no, but it's not a big deal because I never really like wore all the t-shirts, and I never really believed it, never followed it. I was just like, okay, well, they're, it's again too bad because there doesn't seem to be anybody who's not on television, like John Todd said, who's not a witch, right? So it's not good to be bad. It says in the Bible succinctly that, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. And it says it right here. And that's how they topped this off. So right before this, like they had like all these lights shining, kind of like, and then they had the floating, the hovering vehicle rising up, right, from the top of the building. It could be interpreted as a UFO, because people say they see me lights. I've seen them too. They're not UFOs. They're fallen angels. Like a lot of people already know this, I know, but all those lights shining like that or some sort of like transportive, some sort of time travel kind of, because time travel is not really, I'm saying time travel because they've been here since the beginning, and they hop bodies like in the movie with Denzel Washington, Fallen. I'm not saying like, oh well, you can get in a machine and time travel. They can do stuff that we can't do, okay? And the Most High is allowing them to do certain things right now on this earth because their time is short. See how both of them are on each side of him, letting you know that they report to him, and does he not look like occupied here completely? How he started talking and how he eased into it. Okay, his eyes, the eyes when if you've ever seen Possession, which don't worry, those videos are coming. Their eyes start to bulge out of their skull. It's the spirit entering their body. You might see some extra inflection in the eyes, like, because a fallen angel inhabiting a human vessel this has an effect on the person, not in a good way. I can tell you that right now, as I've seen it. The first time that the Lord ever let me see someone possessed, I thought I wasn't ever going to be able to sleep again. But thank the Lord that I was able to sleep again, somehow. And then it didn't stop after that. So, yeah, now I'm like, oh, okay. But this is only a mild example. These are mild examples of people possessed under a spirit. I'm going to try to do more videos like this. Super impromptu, not organized, and doesn't take too much time. But I just wanted to get this out here. I thought this commercial was quite eye-grabbing. Eye-grabbing, there we go. With the eye, eyes. Sounds weird to say eyes grabbing, so eye grabbing, right? This language, this English language. But yeah, I just thank everyone for listening. If you guys listen to all of this, thank you so much. And I love all you guys, my brothers and sisters in Christ. I thank you so much. And I'll probably be doing more of these kind of videos. I'm going to be talking about what happened I'm not sure if this really like reached a lot of people, but it was on the national news, and I don't really watch news, but because it happened in my backyard, I decided to look and see what was going on. If you've heard of Pine Tree Country Club on ABC, which again, I'm assuming most of you guys don't watch TV who are like listening to this, but that was in my backyard, and I'm going to go into that whole significance and how I suspected there was something off a long time ago because I've lived in the area my whole life, and what all they think happened and everything, and just like, because something's off with that. You know, this time of year, and they're having their like summits and gatherings, and Bohemian Grove, and it's like Sun Valley, Bilderbergs, all that kind of stuff. So, and this area has alumni from, as I've figured out, from Yale's notorious Skull and Bones. We go into that in one of the next videos here soon, so be on the lookout for that. And like I said, this was super revealing. If you want to go look it up and watch the whole thing, it's right here, the title, top of the screen. See what you think, and just remember, like, discernment is key, and God loves you, and in these end times it's more important to stick together more than ever, and in whatever way we can, even if it's just for a short time, fellowshipping indirectly through the internet with others, and the truth, whether one likes it or not, it doesn't change the fact that it is indeed the truth. So, with that being said, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for listening, and I will definitely be seeing you guys next time. Okay. All right.